Good morning. You might be able to tell that today's video is centered around the dogs, who are almost all comatose. I don't know where Marcia is. Probably crawling on a ceiling somewhere because she seems to be crazy all the time. But the rest of these monkeys are kind of not awake. Bergie by the front door after the walk-in training session this morning. Bruin right over here in a similar position, and then Millie in her corner behind I'm pretty sure that's a fake tree. And then Marcia is nowhere to be found. Marcia, where are you? Marcia. Marcia. Seriously, where the hell is she? Oh, good girl. I wish you'd like stand up for a change when I call you, but you know, that's fine. I'm gonna talk about the training for Bergie in just a sec, but it is time for these monsters to have breakfast, and it strikes me that I'm not gonna be able to carry the camera and all their food at the same time. Well, let's see what we can pull off. Oh, Kira already dished out their food. Neat. I guess I can make 1,000 different trips, but... Oh yeah, Millie, of course, here's the food. And first things first, she's feed me. Bruin, are you gonna get up for breakfast or not? He gets fed first. He's the oldest. He's 4.5. Special privileges. He gets his food first. Bergie will go second, because he's the second oldest, but he is much more interested in eating. Isn't that right, Berg? Hey, relax, back up. And yes, the big dogs eat on chairs because, the floor is too far down for him, I think. And this one's wigging out because she hasn't been fed yet. But Millie actually goes fourth because she is the least obedient and the giantest pain in the butt. Also, she's the most overweight, so she gets to, for lack of a better term, suffer. I don't know. Oh, hey, Marcia. Yeah, snack time. You bag of bones. Marcia, place. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, here you go. That's the microphone. Are you gonna eat? Hey. There you go. Good girl. All right, Screamy Jones, I'm coming for you. One of the many nicknames I have for Millie is Screamy because of all the dogs, she is certainly the loudest, and often for no reason. Millie, sit. Sit. Wait. Wait. Millie. Okay, go. There you go. This one is the only one that's particularly food aggressive. If another dog walks anywhere near her bowl, full or empty, or just kind of looks in that direction, she starts growling, which is a problem. She's the rescue. This is Millie, for those of you who don't know her. She's almost 2. This is her third home. Her names before have been Gwen and Honey. I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure Gwen fits her the best. Not saying she is exactly like the Karens of the world, but here she is, scrounging for scraps from the big dog. And I cannot see that going well for her. The thing with the big guys, though, is they're actually super chill. Whenever people come to do work on the house or come over the house that they don't know that we have these humongous dogs, I always warn them, it's like, listen, if you're afraid of dogs, we have 4 of them. 2 of them are humongous. They are the biggest dogs you've ever seen. To which sometimes they'll reply, oh yeah, I like big dogs. I have a 110-pound pit bull. And I say, that's adorable. Because Bruin's 175 pounds, Bergie's 175 pounds. Bergie is like 36 and a half, 37 inches to his shoulder. and you know, he's easily taller than miniature horses, so like they're humongous, right? But the big ones are very, very chill until you really tick them off. I haven't really seen Bergie properly angry about anything. Bruin does not like when dogs step on him. He has very good warning levels, and the highest he's ever gotten to is 3. He will growl and kind of snarl, and then he'll growl, snarl, and kind of snap his head over to where they're going, just to kind of spook them. And dogs learn that quickly, and they don't get to number 3 twice. Sometimes there's accidents, and he can kind of understand what the accidents are, and he doesn't really get mad at them for some reason. But if it's on purpose or the creature is being delinquent, he will let them know. Bergie, you can step on his face, he doesn't care. Marcia actually punches him in the face all the time. I'm not giving you more food. Mom already feeds you too much. She's trained Kyrie to do whatever it is that she wants. She has not trained me to do that just yet. And she never will. Isn't that right? Bruin, you always leave just a bunch of nuggets in there. I know you're watching your waistline, but still, bro. We often get people freaking out at us that we've got 4 dogs, and it's like, oh my god, it's gotta be so much, and how can you possibly handle it? And it's like, yeah, you know, sometimes it can be a lot, but like this morning, we took all the dogs for a walk for a little bit more than a mile, and while I was training Bergie, Kyrie took Marcia for more of a walk because she's a Vizsla and she's gonna have the energy, and when she turns 1, she'll be Kyrie's running dog. But she's not quite 1 yet, so that we're gonna, you know, put a pin in that. But that's kind of how meal times go. Dogs sleep a lot, especially the big ones. You know, they ate, and Bergie's back to his spot. And Bruin's not far behind. Can be a lot, especially if they're all rambunctious. If someone new pops over, anytime my parents come to visit us, it's a bit much trying to get them to not freak out. 2 things that we're working on with all of them is walking and entrances. They all have their pros and cons for both of them, but for walking, Bergie's a pretty good walker until he finds something that he wants, and he's usually attached to Kyrie, and he will dart to whatever he wants, like usually to sniff a tree or something. And since he's got like 50 pounds on Kyrie, he takes her with him. Bruin will sometimes refuse to walk, sometimes he lays down and he doesn't want to get up, or he will protest our direction, but he's attached to me, so I don't have that hard of a time to kind of grab him. Marcia pulls on the leash a lot, and we're working on that. Millie goes all over the place. Sometimes she'll just stop. She has a hard time going to the bathroom right away. The big dogs, they will go outside and they will use the bathroom within 50 feet, and they'll be done for the next 10 hours. Millie likes to just walk in the grass forever, and then decides, yeah, this is not the good time, so I'm gonna go someplace else, and maybe we'll do it later. And it's a pain in the neck. One of the things we're trying to work on with them is when we go for walks, it's time to walk. When we are outside in a certain part of the yard, that's where we use the bathroom, and then when we go for walks, we're walking, we're not doing anything else. But this whole process just started, and it's gonna be a long one, but you know, we'll hope for the best. Many of you might have noticed that I am using an e-collar to train Bergie, and we're going to use e-collars for all of our dogs because it's gonna give us the best control. We have 4 very good dogs. We do not have 4 well-trained dogs. There's a difference. The worst thing that either of them does is Millie barks too much, and Marcia will take socks out of the hamper and walk around with them. They don't destroy anything, they don't chew on walls, they don't chew on furniture. They are very kind dogs, they're loving dogs. Hopefully that's a representation of mom and dad, but they're all great dogs in their own respect. They all have their own personalities, but they are not very well trained. So we're using the e-collar. And a lot of people freak out about the e-collar. Oh my God, it's a shock collar, you're gonna kill the dog, it's so mean. And we don't do anything to the dogs that we haven't done to ourselves already, and I'm gonna show you. So this is the e-collar that we use for Bergie and that we're gonna use for all the dogs. It's a Garmin. I didn't even know Garmin made them, but that's kind of cool. And Bergie's correction setting, and I haven't changed anything, it's a 1. You can see that there. So can you even see there's a little notch right below the 1. I don't know if I can get the light just, there we go. So there's a notch right below the 1, he's set to 1. So it's on, I press the tone button, it's on. We only ever use the I guess sensation, because it's like you say shock, but it's like it's not really a shock. And I'm going to show you because I'm going to do it on myself in front of you, so you know that it's like not that bad, or not bad at all, frankly. All right, so like I said, remote set to 1, which is Bergie's correction. You can kind of see it there, right? Let me get my head out of the way. Maybe it'll focus. There we go. On the 1. So what we do is we usually use the continuous button, which is this one. But just to prove that it's on, you can hear it when I press the tone button. So I'm just gonna have it on my wrist like this. I would say that I can't do any camera tricks to change anything. So let me show you. We're still on 1, and if I hold this, I can kind of feel something. It's a tingle, and then I'm still holding it because you can see the green light on, and then it kind of goes away, right? So you notice how I didn't like make a face or anything like that, nothing. So I felt 1, and I was pushing it into my skin. There's dents in my skin now. Yeah, there's one right there that you can see. So I'm pushing too hard into my own skin. So if I'm gonna click it up to a 2, and then I'm gonna press it again. You can still feel it. It's like, I mean, it's not the most fun sensation in the world, but I'm still holding it and talking to you and not making a face. It's like, oh, all right, fine, whatever. And then if I move to a 3, I press it again. It's like, okay, you can definitely feel it this time. It's still not painful. I'm still not like grimacing, but you know. So that's what we use for Bergie. We use the 1 for Bergie. Kyrie had to go up to a 2, I think once or twice. But, you know, hopefully that shows you that the e-collar is not like shocking. It's not like painful. We're not electrocuting and hurting the dog. It's like, this is a tingling sensation that the dog's like, I don't know what this is. I don't love it, because who loves that kind of sensation? But it's not nearly what people make it out to be. So, e-collar, not painful. You watch me do it on myself. It's fine. So I can already tell that it's a reasonable chance that some people are going to get upset with the e-collar stuff and prefer the only positive reinforcement route. And, you know, we've done that for about a year, and it had been working okay, but, you know, we needed more. So now, instead of working with, you know, behavioral trainers, dog trainers, that sort of a thing, we're working with people that train, you know, police canines, military dogs. Now, we're not going like full-blown military dogs on any of our dogs, but we're using some of their training techniques and implementing it with our 4. That being said, positive reinforcement is still the #1 thing that we do, right? So if Millie runs up to me and sits down and looks at me like she wants me to pet her, I'm gonna pet her. That's a behavior that I want, I'm going to reward it, right? When Bergie is stapled to my left leg, like he often was during that training session that you saw, he gets pet, and he gets a good boy every time he does what I want, not only when after correcting him, but when not after correcting him, right? So it's at minimum happening after he fixes whatever he's not supposed to be doing, and happens when he's doing what he's supposed to be doing anyway. So positive reinforcement is still like #1 for us, but he's using that little correction just to kind of, okay, let's get back on track so that we know that we're out here for a walk and we are stapled to dad's leg, and that's what we're doing, as opposed to just being distracted by all sorts of stuff. And also I used the thing on my arm in front of you, and you saw how much pain I was in, so there's that too. But in case you're worried about, like, you know, all we're doing is, you know, giving the dog this negative reinforcement happens, no, it's still actually mostly positive reinforcement. It's just this added thing that we're doing. Instead of having to, like, when the dog runs away up on the leash and yanking him over, it's just like, no, come back here, there it is, good boy. So that's something that just happens all the time, and it's hard to see, and it's hard to get past the, oh my god, they're using a knee collar, and I think that's probably something that somebody's gonna yell at me about. But, you know, I want to be clear that it is still mostly positive reinforcement, just having this little extra part of it, because frankly they need it. Oh yes, don't mind me, just a giant fluffy dog, hanging out outside by the pool, and not wanting to go anywhere. Marsha, what the hell are you eating? What are you eating? Yes, I know you're trying to hide, but you're failing miserably. What are you eating? Are you chewing on a stick? You shouldn't be doing that. Not the sharpest bunch, I'll tell you that. Alright, feeding time at the zoo round 2. You're pathetic. You act like you've never been fed before. Look at this. She knows the food's in there. All the dogs know the food's in there. But she acts like she's never been fed before. Oh, look at me, I'm so pathetic and small, and I look so hungry, don't I? It's like, no. No, you don't. So the dogs actually get 2 kinds of food. The first one is Origin, which we thought was one of the higher quality dog foods out there, and then a prescription food called Ultra Amino. Bruin had diarrhea for the first 6 months of his life, and it could have been Chicago because that's a thing. But we noticed that all the dogs' digestive systems work really well with this mix, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But at the same time, oh, and Marcia still gets her puppy food too. But at the same time, we put in bone broth and kefir, probably 1 because it makes it taste better, and 2, the kefir probiotics, not a bad idea. So they get plenty of stuff in their food with their food, and again with the camera and 4 dog bowls, gets dicey. And I open the door, and who's sitting there waiting? Yeah, exactly. Brew, here, bud. Brew, snacks. He gets fed first, but he's always unfazed. Bergie, that's not yours. I'm working on yours. Hang on. Yeah, I'm working on it. Hey, out of the way. Move your butt. Move your big giant butt. Here you go, big guy. Nom 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 nom. Marsha, and/or Spaz, place. Sit. Girl, here you go. Act on him. There you go. Millie, sit. Good girl, wait. Okay. You can't really blame her for being so weird with food, because the first year and change of her life, or maybe the first almost year of her life, you never knew what was happening. But we're trying to break her of those habits, because it's not like they don't get fed at the exact same time, twice a day, every single day. Because they do. One of the things that we've learned from all the dog training stuff that we've been through is that they like structure, and as it turns out, so do we. So yeah, they get fed at the same time, they go for walks at the same time. Bergie and Bruin's bathroom schedule is more accurate than a German train schedule. It's you know exactly when they need to, and they do their own little dances or make their own little noises if something happens and we forget or something like that. So I'll let them finish dinner, and then we're going to talk about personalities. Let's go in reverse chronological order, I guess. So let's start with Miss Marsha. So this is Marsha. Marsha, sit. She is an 11-month-old Vizsla. Millie, this is not your time to shine. Go away. Bless you. She's a very sweet dog. She, Hey, I didn't say get up. I said sit. There you go. We took her to a place to get trained, and this is what she's best at, is sitting on command. She does, the whole place thing, and she, is okay at that, but she likes to get up and wiggle her butt. For a Spaz hunting dog, bird dog, running dog, did I mention Spaz? She has a reasonable amount of energy. She doesn't tear up the house or anything like that. She tortures that one for many hours a day, only because she can't get away with it by torturing the big guys. I think we blow off a lot of her energy by doing at least a couple walks a day with her, but she's manageable, but definitely the most rambunctious, see, out of all of them. And that segues nicely into Millie, who is almost 2. I am pretty sure there's some Jack Russell in her just because of the tail, but Kyrie tells me I'm wrong. She is definitely a barker. This is her 3rd home. Like I said, her previous names were Gwen and Honey, and honestly, her personality fits the name Gwen the best. She's a barker. That's her biggest issue. She likes to use her cuteness to manipulate people into giving her exactly what she wants. And while the barking really annoys me more than any other behavior of a dog could do, she's not terrible. She does get annoying sometimes, often, but she sleeps a lot too, so that's not bad. Moving on, we have the younger of the wolfhounds. This is Bergie. Bergie, say hello. Bergie. Bergie. There he is. He's long. He doesn't fit in the frame. Bergie is probably the most jovial of the crew. It's very easy to get his attention. That's one of the reasons we started training him first this way, because he would probably respond better to it, and if one dog responds, then the other dogs will typically follow. He's a big giant goofball. He just wants to love you all the time. And I think he's probably our smartest dog, even though Bruin, you can tell exactly what he's thinking when he looks at you. But I think Bergie's actually our smartest dog. Curious pointing at him. But he definitely does play with the little ones the most. I think mostly because they're afraid of Bruin a little bit, but he definitely plays with them the most. He can't catch Millie. I'm sorry, he can't catch Marcia. Well, actually, maybe he can. Occasionally he does. But he definitely can catch Millie without even trying. And finally, we have Bruin, the OG. He is 4.5, Bergie's 2.5. He is our first dog. We got him God knows how many years ago, probably 4 years ago, oddly enough. And he's been with us in Chicago, in Nashville, and now here. He's probably, he's the oldest, so he has, I think, the least energy of everybody. He is best at communicating, either with his noises or with his eyes, because you know exactly what he's thinking. If you tell him to do something and he looks at you a particular way, he will say, "No, I'm going over here, thanks very much." Another reason that we wanted to train the dogs the same way, so that we had, the obedience that we wanted. That being said, when he does what he wants, it's usually to sit in a different place as opposed to go terrorize the neighborhood. We have no bad dogs. They're just not super obedient, so that's why we're doing the training stuff. But we have 4 really good dogs. It's unfortunate that Bruin and Bergie got in a big fight 14-ish months ago. They're still separated. We're very hopeful that once Bergie hits like the 3-year mark, all that stuff is just gonna kind of go away. I imagine it's still partially him, maybe some of it's still Bruin. I think he either guards me or the couch, or me on the couch, because that's his like special place. I don't know. I'm hopeful that when they're 3 and 5, all that'll go away and we can take all these barriers down and, enjoy our house as like one cohesive unit, as opposed to always being in kind of separate rooms. We've started adjusting that a little bit. We'll have, one of them in front of the couch and one of them behind the couch when, I'm behind the couch and Kiria's on the couch, so we're like very close proximity. We can be in the same room at the same time, but it's still not optimal, but it's a lot better than it was. Before this video ends, I think there's a Royal Rumble going on in my office. Let's take a look. Bye. Oh, hi, bro. Is it your time? Is it your turn to kill Marcia? Marcia, go get him. Go get him. No? Are you just looking for me? Hey, bud. Oh! I'm definitely his favorite. It's not even close. Sorry, Kiria.